Everyone, I'm Bishi, and tonight we are returning to an old flame of sorts, an old playthrough I have not been good about playing for a long time. I don't even remember the last time I played this, sometime last year, to give you an idea. We are returning to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles playthrough, and we are in the second game, which is the last game. But I had to play Yakuza and a bunch of other games. So I haven't been back to this at all. I am so sorry. But we're returning to it tonight, and I'll be playing this probably every week from here on out until we finish it. And then after that, we'll probably get back to playing more Apollo Justice. But yeah, I have notes, thank God, about what was going on in the game. So hopefully they're good notes. It looks like there's a lot, so I'm probably not going to read all of it, but I'll read y'all, like, the most recent notes I took, and we'll go from there. And if I don't know something, I'll try to look it up in my notes. But anyway, hey Panda, welcome in. Welcome in. It's a dress, actually. It's a dress. I'm dressing up for stream. I just wanted to wear something I haven't worn 100 times on stream. And you only see the top half anyway, so I was like, I'll just wear this. We need to address the dress. Yeah, let's get some commotion for the dress. Yeah, it's a dress. Should I stand up? I never stand up. I'm always sat. Back up. See? It's a dress. Pretty? Yes. Streamers don't have lower bodies. Well, okay, it stops right here. There's nothing under that. Nothing there. The dress is so gender, though. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's, yeah. I like it. It's one of my favorites, actually. Y'all have bodies? I won't tomorrow. I'll be a drawing tomorrow, don't worry. If this is bothering you, I'll be two-dimensional tomorrow. Do not fret. Also, welcome in, Alfred. A drawing? Much better. My preference is my streamers are drawings, actually. My streamers have fake bodies. Yeah, this is actually a very advanced VTuber. Like, really advanced. But it's why I look so weird sometimes. The mesh is impressive. I know, yeah. This cost a lot of money. Spent my life savings on it, actually. Is it paying off? I don't know. That is to be seen. Something uncanny about. Oh no. Alright. So, speaking of all these murders and stuff, the last time I played Ace Attorney Chronicles, we were, I believe, in the second case of the second game, which is the last one. The last game. There's 2 games. I'm in the second one. Second case. I think there's 4 or 5 cases. Last thing I wrote down is Olive, which is a character. I remember her. Is being brought in to testify because we think she poisoned the gas pipe that Sham blew into to kill Natsume. She probably knows he killed her love the same way and wanted revenge. And then I have asterisks next to the green letter piece was found in his room. I vaguely remember. I vaguely remember all of this. I remember Sham is like the Shakespeare-looking guy. Natsume is the author. Olive is the woman that wears the green jacket, who her fiance was killed, I guess, by Sham, is what I'm thinking at this point. And then I have some other notes, but that's before that. Let me see. A little bit before that, this says... Oh yeah, and I remember there was like poison in like a soap bar or something, and it was... I was like frozen. Olive got a letter to meet the day she got stabbed from some... Oh yeah, because this has to do with a case from the first game, and they brought it back and added to it. That was supposed to be in the first one, but they moved it to the second one. Anyway. Olive got a letter to meet the day she got stabbed from someone who had info about Duncan's death, which was her fiance. The letter said to meet at 5, and that's when she got stabbed. There was no poison found in the tea, in the soap. I remember that being a problem. Who is Zeke's? Zeke's? I have Zeke's written down. Poison was put into Sham's cup only, not the pot or Natsume's cup. And the poisoned cup was not used to make the ice coins. Okay. The prosecutor. Oh, Zeke's right. The vampire man. Okay, vampire man. Thank you. I also wrote down 8 food beforehand, a soup and salad. I don't know how that matters. I just wrote down everything. I was like, I don't know what's gonna matter. We need to figure out how Sham was poisoned, which I think was from the pipe. So that was before I figured it out. By disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the pipe, you can extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network. So maybe Sham is blowing out the lights in Natsume's room, which is how he killed the previous tenant. Oh yeah, so he's blowing out the lights and that way the gas is just filling the room and that can kill the person in their sleep. The mouth of the pipe could have had poison on it, and when Sham blew into it to snuff out the lights, it could have poisoned him. Okay, I see. So we figured out how Sham was probably poisoned, and then we're figuring that Olive probably did it for revenge. So I think we've got our culprit, which is sad because, you know, Olive's fiance was murdered the same way, supposedly. Allegedly. And we might be having to find her guilty. I feel so bad. Okay. I think I've remembered what's going on. Now, I'm probably still going to struggle a little bit because you know how these games love details. But, I'll try to look at my notes if I get stuck. Okay. We're here! We're back after many months. Many moons have passed in the time that I have not been playing this game. While I wasn't playing this game, I was playing... Gosh, I think I might have stopped playing it when Alan Wake came out. I played Alan Wake 2. I played Like a Dragon Gaiden. That was a big reason I stopped playing this. And then I started Infinite Wealth. Still haven't finished it, but, you know, I'm in the middle of it. Played Apollo Justice, at least the first game. But we're finally back. We're here. Alright. Guess we'll just continue. Yeah, episode 2, trial part 2. That sounds right. I think we're almost done with this one, too. And I meant to end it between trials instead of in the middle of something. But... Oh, the save was from September. Okay, now we know. Oh, embarrassing. Haven't played it since September. Oh my god. That's horrible. Okay. It's been a long time. I'm probably gonna not remember all the voices, so we're gonna make them up as we go along. 23rd February, 11:32 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Joyful, jubilant, jumpy jacks! There he is. Oh, Mr. Natsume. I'm so pleased for you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, and non-locum judicial assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquiress. Now, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent, and proof that my tea is innocent. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. There he is. Ah, Hairlock Sholmes! May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. Thought the tea was innocent. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful. Please, save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought, tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all of its own. What? Oh, yes. And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter? Oh, yes. On which realization, I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted, and began to be assailed by fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already. What others presuppose, I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah, yes. And one more thing. Do you remember this? The poison bottle that she tried to drink. Yes. Ah. Yes, of course. It's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Yesterday? You mean months ago? Oh, you didn't manage to... It was a laborious task, as the bottle was near empty. But such inconveniences do not hinder shows. Yeah, the third person. Speaking of third person now. Girl, you're just eepy. It's fine. It's normal. We're all a little eepy sometimes. Hey, Zoe, welcome in. How I've missed these silly geese. Yes, a whole flock of them. A whole gander. Welcome in. Long-winded way to say you overslept, yeah. Everything about Mr. Sholmes is, long-winded. Can't do anything simply. He's gonna snap his own neck. Oh my god. Just make everyone sound like an old man. I managed to confirm that it contains strychnine. So I was right. Perhaps. Though of course such circumstantial evidence does not prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now, but licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. Bottled poison has been entered into the court record. Bottle found in the possession of Miss Green with traces of the slow-acting poison strychnine. Huh. Can I have a word? Oh. Mr. Fish and Chips. Gregson! How good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute, Inspector. I don't remember his voice. I, don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. The look on your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I am not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. You have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shamspeare's room? Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. That dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamspeare's room? Oh, I didn't remember that. A man by the name of... Selden. Selden. Do I have that already? Do I already own that? Oh no, yeah, it's right here. Capital offender article. A newspaper article about Selden, a criminal sentenced to receive the death penalty. However, he died of illness in prison whilst his loot remained undiscovered. Sounds kind of familiar. Not exactly. Oh yeah, and then there was a picture of the landlord with her fiance. This is the proof that she probably poisoned the pipe or something. Or this is how we found out that he was blowing into the pipe to exhaust the flames. Something like that. I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector? What? I've copied out the relevant parts for you. You can read it for yourselves. Thank you. Okay, the file has been entered into the court record. Scotland Yard's file about the convicted criminal Selden that includes the newspaper article about him dying of illness. Okay. We should probably look at that. Investigative findings related to Selden. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder, died of natural causes while in prison. His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated £1,000 worth of loot he stole remains unrecovered. Condemned criminal dies of natural causes in prison. Manchester's Strangeways prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Okay. I didn't know that an illness could be considered natural causes. Huh. Okay, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be murder, so it would just be natural causes? I guess an illness is natural? All natural! These documents include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court records so we don't have duplicate information. Oh. Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion. Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows. And the inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown. Shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way into the courtroom at once! I am not prepared. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all. Certainly not! Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears, personally. Well, the best of luck to you. I think you're rather tired in general. Locum student, Mr. Nunahodo Esquire! Yes, Mr. Nutsmith? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shakespeare. This is going to be the final battle. Okay, so I'm actually at the end of this case, and that's where I stopped. Amazing. I won't really have saved Soseki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Ryunosuke. You have to. To be continued. Just kidding. Doing it now. The final showdown! My first time getting back to the game! It's a finale of a case. 23rd February, 12:30 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. There's Van Zeeks. His little vampire-ness. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from the dubious Eastern Shores. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the Honorable British Prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Zeeks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand? I missed Zeeks and his long legs, which I haven't seen today, but maybe. Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord. Very well. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in. There's Olive and Shakespeare. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please. William Shakespeare, my liege. For mine occupation, I can only say that I be a tragic victim, to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words. I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Oh, also currently unemployed, in other words. What a... Oh. I don't know this word. Let's look it up.
Coterie.
A coterie. That makes sense. Coterie. What does it mean? Small group of people with shared interests or taste. What a group! Could have just said, what a group! What a coterie! You know what it is? Probably, like, in the original game, all of the words they use and all the verbiage and speech they say, you know, is probably all kind of old-fashioned. So they're trying to match that in English. But it's funny because it's like, I don't know what that word means. I wonder if there's Japanese players who played the original that were like, what is that? Like, they have to look up the Japanese because it's like such an old word. A motley crew, if you will, yes. I thought he ate the soap and death dropped. You thought he was dead already. Well, he did death drop, but he came back to life. He death dropped and then he life stood up. Mr. Shamspeare. My lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, bent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would for naught else, my lord. And Miss Green. Yes? You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume? Yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon. And? Do you accept the charge, Miss Green? I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man. Oh, well, that's a lie. Come, lady, die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly pea-pigmented personage. Very well. Let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair. It's all very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in hospital fighting for my life. Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Gerardep household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days. Welcome in, Caramel! Howdy! Oh, that bird emote is so cute. Is that a duck? Oh... so cute. Oh, is that a hype emote? I need it. I need it! So cute. Welcome in, Caramel. Hope you're doing good. I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion. What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing. Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened. Oh no! The incident 6 days ago! You mean you want me to relive that awful incident? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamspeare. Huh? But what happened 6 days ago is nothing to do with me being poisoned. Let us proceed, then. Witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court. Subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February. The evening of 17th. It was 6 days ago at about 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings. Coincidentally, I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speak'st, where I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all of this business. Yes, a second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodging. One can only presume this is a most unfortunate coincidence. Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamspeare. It was the following morn when I did awaken that I learned of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine? When Soseki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there was nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true. It does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance, but I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. I'm not excited for this. I'm so scared. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Right away, my lord. Evening of the 17th. Sorry about the ads, Caramel. Sorry about the ad hell. Ad purgatory. Oh my god. It's been so long since I've played this game. I have notes, but I am so worried that I'm not gonna remember stuff it wants me to know. Okay. I feel like I might be able to present something to this. Or this. Because there might have been another time she was in the area. Alright, let's press on everything. Hold it! I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that. It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. And I woke up to find that the case had been solved and the culprit arrested. Yes, the incident has been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening, and should now be forgotten. Yes, I suppose so. Thank you. Before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case. Trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Happened to be just outside the house where the men in the case have their lodgings. Hold it! What a quink-dink! What were you doing there that day, though? What do you mean? The art school you attend. What's it called? Yes. It's the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Sholmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene on the Underground. I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road. Isn't that right? So why, then, would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End? Well, it's because, oh yes, of course. I thought it might make a nice picture. The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas. That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town. Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term. Point is, she's definitely hiding something. Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth. If she's trying to hide why she was there that evening, it must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shamspeare, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing? 'Twould be my pleasure, sire. I keep falling in and out of the British accent. I'm not used to this anymore. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speak, for I had bespoke myself. Hold it! A tavern, you say? Which one? 'Twas the slug and salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End. And a little unexpected, I feel. Hmm? What do you mean, Lord Van Zeeks? The slug and salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. Oh! It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness. I would have expected grub's grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather soupy water and pea-like mush. All equally appetizing. I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that? How different can water really be? Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. Specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment. Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days he dined at a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. So Mr. Shamspeare's own actions, a day of the incident 6 days ago, were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. Oh. Oh, were they supposed to meet there, maybe? It says we couldn't find the rest of the envelope, but I think we did. Huh. I could try to present evidence and present the letter, but it doesn't say anything. I'm not sure. Finding that note. I'm gonna look at my notes. See if I can find some information. Yeah, Olive got a letter to meet the day she got stabbed from someone who had information about Duncan's death. The letter said to meet at 5, but I don't think I wrote down where they were supposed to meet. And I don't know why I don't have this letter in my evidence. Like, how do I know that? Huh. Let me save and I can try to present something, but I might not be ready yet. Weirdos Gate ate it. Exactly. Let's see here. These are from the first game. I'm gonna be honest, whenever I see any footage of this game, I narrate to myself as an exercise to improve my voice acting skills and put on a better British accent. Oh, nice. It's perfect for that. It really is. I felt like when I was playing this more regularly, I was doing pretty good at the British accent. It's just like after 4 hours of a stream, sometimes I'd start like falling out of it 'cause it's like, just getting tired, you know? Yeah, it's good practice. And that's kind of why I like playing games like this with a lot of dialogue. Even Yakuza has moments where, you know, I have to read out all the voices and stuff because it's just fun to kind of think up what everyone would sound like. And, yeah. He's this game's Toby. That's, oh my god. Eating all the letters. Alright, I'll try. Mr. Shamspear. Yes, sire? On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakst. Very well. I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely... this armband! I'm gonna try this.
Take that!
I don't think that's it, though. Oh, good Horatio. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Horatio? I believe it's a line from Shakespeare's play Hamlet, Mr. Naruhodo. Be it a line from the great Shakespeare. This... Mr. Shamspear. The message is the same. My learned Nipponese friend is wide of the mark. Yeah. Hardly surprising, given this witness's obtuse literary quotes. I do wonder if there isn't perhaps some evidence that would explain why it was the Slug and Salad he visited. I don't think I have it. We've discussed this issue enough, let us return to the witness's testimony. Okay, so there should be something I do there, but I don't think I have what I need. Gladly I would thy bidding do, Horatio. Alright, well let's just keep pressing and see what happens. Well, I could load, but we have 4 more tries, so I'll just stick with it. First time I've been in the area, I had a little matter to attend to them. I feel like everything rests on the fact that they were trying to meet up because I think Shamster was the one that gave her that letter. And then she was going to go meet someone who had information about the death of her fiancé. But the problem is I don't have it. I don't have this letter. Yeah, the green letter piece was found in his room. But I don't have the rest of it. I don't know. Had a little matter to attend to.
Hold it!
What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate. It was nothing, really. It's not worth mentioning. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. Ah. It was related to the card you were holding. Oh, okay. Miss Green! What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Okay, so that's why. She still has it in her possession. What does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan. Oh? Okay.
Excuse me.
There's something. Mr. Shamspear, do you have something to share with the court? Something to share with the class? To be or not to be, that is the question. Ah, pray, forgive me. The great bard's word springeth from within me with ne'er a thought. Don't tell me. It's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps? Eh? Nay, sire, 'twas nothing at all. Presumably, you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. I would it were so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him? Even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours? Miss Green.
Me, my lord. Have I done something wrong?
Card that was mentioned before, containing the note. You have it upon your person. Here we go.
I do, yes. But I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Or you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. Alright, there we go. A note in an envelope that seems to have been ripped open rather roughly. It contains instructions to meet with someone who claims to have information about Duncan Ross. Let's see where they're supposed to meet. So here's what I needed. The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. Ah.
What is it?
The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact same shape somewhere else.
Oh, you don't mean... Were you thinking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Exactly. That's it. Try to match them up. Oh, okay.
They go together perfectly. This torn-off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card.
There we go. A note in an envelope that seems to have been ripped open rather roughly. The envelope fits perfectly with a torn-off piece found at the scene of the crime. Ripped piece of an envelope that was found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. It fits perfectly with an envelope in Miss Green's possession. Alright. So that alone connects them. So we're not even going to read the inside of the note, huh? I guess we don't need to. Maybe. Okay. Works for me. Of course. That's what links Mr. Shamspeare and Miss Green. It's Duncan Ross. Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green.
Actually they don't fit together. You're holding the torn piece upside down.
And backwards. and the green is like a shade too light.
Anyway,
I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all of this business. Yes, you didn't regain consciousness until the day after the trial, did you? In the early hours.
Exactly. So how could I have had anything to do with it? And yet you still hold me in here to court like this. Honestly.
So at the time of the poisoning, the witness was unconscious in her hospital bed. Could there be a more airtight alibi, I ask you?
And yet, in spite of that, you claim that I was the culprit?
Well,
But you certainly haven't produced any evidence to support your wild claim, have you? None at all.
There you have it. The good lady has yet to see evidence. My learned friend. I'm working on it. Counsel, I will point out here that the jury's next decision will be final. Really up against the wall here. Oh, Susato, we're really in it now?
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you pursued Mr. Shamspeare wonderfully there.
It's worked out well, hasn't it? We have a new clue at last. Alright, now I need to pull off a really insightful objection somewhere.
Well, as you've managed to expose this promising new angle, I wonder if you should perhaps try to develop that?
Ah, yes, of course. And yelling out objections isn't necessarily the best way to do that, I suppose. Alright, so... I know that we could present evidence here. I wonder if now is the time? Maybe I can present the letter because it connects them? Let's try it. Okay, we're gonna skip through this. Then again, like, we haven't seen what the letter says. Let's try it. Let's see.
Take that!
Ah, okay, yes. I believe this card reveals the answer. Good lord! Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamspear, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamspear?
Well... Excuse me, can I say something?
Yes, Miss Green.
That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it?
Well, you would think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely...
My lord, may I?
May you what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well, then. You may amend your testimony. Include details about the peculiar note. Well, we already figured this out.
This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the odd man next to me here.
Hold it!
I think you said that you received it the day before the incident, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
There appears to be no indication of the sender's name or address on the envelope.
It was in my letterbox, and that's all I know, I'm afraid. I've no idea who sent it.
I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Who is this Duncan Ross, please?
A friend of mine. He attended the same art school as I do.
Yeah, a friend. Just a friend.
He passed away in a tragic accident a month ago now, though. I wasn't sure what to make of that note, to be honest, but in the end, I decided to go.
So you found out what the information was?
Of course I didn't. You're not thinking straight.
Whilst on her way there, she was stabbed in the back, as my learned friend hopefully remembers. Ah, yes, of course. She never made it to the meeting.
Oh, Mr. Naruto.
Oh, yeah, this is the same. Okay. So now is probably the time. And we can pull out the piece, I guess? Okay. Because she already has the other part of the letter, so now we can present this.
Objection!
Yeah. A friend you kiss every day. That's what best friends are for. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. And upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in hospital.
Yes, I did. It's terrible. Everything that's happened to me.
Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is.
What do you mean?
Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of an envelope.
Oh, is it?
And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received.
Where did you find that?
In Mr. Shamspear's room. Eh? In my room? Mr. Shamspear, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well, your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspear. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green.
Oh, what did I do?
As this torn-off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamspear's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession?
I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist, after all.
There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspear's room and stole it. Is that what happened?
You did... Sorry. Thou hast what?
You broke... thou were in my room! Even he's breaking character.
What on earth do you want with me?
It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. Ugh. Miss Green.
Yes?
Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you've endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind. Oh,
Yes. I know.
very well then, witnesses. You will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. Alright, make it progress. Anomaly of the note.
I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago. Peradventure, that note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at that slug and salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here, and as for that torn-off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it.
You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamspeare?
Faith, 'tis so, my lord, and I would swear to have set it upon the table in my humble lodgings. Yet, 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it.
Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was...
A lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think I'm the one lying.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address. Besides,
We all know who the liar around here is. If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
I don't see why I should explain.
Sorry?
I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is just to say what happened, that's all. It's your job to give the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer.
The fledgling will do his best. Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth. Well, counsel? I'm ready, my lord. Very well, then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shamspeare's room. There can be no question of that.
Yeah, I guess that would explain how she put the poison on there as well. So she had to have broken in at some point.
And that's how she acquired the note.
Yes, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all of this. So that means that someone, a third person, has information about how Duncan died and was going to talk originally to Shamspeare, and Olive happened to find the note and was also going to be in on it. Interesting. It's not a pretty one. I bet I would know who that third person is if I didn't wait months to play this. Okay. It was a week ago that note was delivered to me.
Hold it!
And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all?
Nay, sire, 'tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own,
Verily, 'tis impenetrable. But Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? What does he even do? Oh, he's playing with the ribbon on his head. I was like, is he like pretending to play with his hair but not touching it?
black. Choices betwixt I knew him and I knew him not. Then 'tis with foreboding that I be forced to declare we were by some small measure acquainted.
Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the Slug and Salad. Presumably, that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature?
Very naught will have the better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity.
So 'tis true, I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern. Yet, in the end, my curiosity was not satiated, and then the person didn't show up. I was thinking that he sent the note to Olive, but I guess if he killed someone, why would he want to give information out? Now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know what's going on in this case. On the day, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came.
Hold it!
So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared?
Well, yes, sire, 'tis as thou sayest.
Really? You paused for a moment before you answered.
In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall.
Really? You mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all?
I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord, no. 'Tis returning to me now. I did treat my lips to almost clear water, and mine innards to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced a great many companions.
What do you mean?
Flies, sire. Flies.
Flies?
Good lord. In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a midsummer night's dream, come to taunt me?
I think they were just flies.
I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me?
Okay, so you didn't tell us anything. On the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished.
Hold it!
When exactly did you notice it had gone missing?
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room. Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval.
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in hospital, was she not? Clearly, then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shamspeare's room. Oh.
Yes, of course.
Unless she was pretending.
It's all some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir?
You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by the note.
Ah.
I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that.
Oh, dearie me.
What's Lord Van Zeek's getting at? I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I?
Hold it!
Poison him! It seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shamspeare about 1 week ago.
Oh, does it?
But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened, except for you breaking into Mr. Shamspeare's lodging.
Objection!
But for what reason would the witness have done that? I don't know. I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless.
Miss Green could only have come to be in possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shamspeare's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing.
What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though?
Yes, we should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruto, though.
We're close now. Feel it. So close to a breakthrough. Okay. Is he aspiring to reach the truth like a good guy? Perhaps. Perhaps. I feel like almost every prosecutor starts out as this guy sucks. He's so bad and evil and, like, underhanded. And then, in the end, most of the time, they just want to know what's going on. They're just trying to do a good job. It just so happens they're working against us. I can point out the villain here, and as for the torn off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it.
Hold it!
So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it?
I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters.
Introverted.
Why, this fledgling doth readily cast aspersions about my nature.
Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind doth frolic on my wing.
Oh, pity. Wherefore dost thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample woman? Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure.
Tragedy. Thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thine instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days. Oh, the years. Alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long, and in vain! Can't even see my arms.
Mr. Naruhodo, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine.
I'm no Shakespearean actor, Miss Susato. No. As far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument is evidence.
Oh, is evidence. Yes. Okay. It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Shakespeare's room, isn't it? And that's where she found this letter.
Yes. Two more or less foregone conclusions that lead me to one terrifying conclusion.
Terrifying?
Yes, I'm afraid to say. The outcome of this cross-examination may well change how we look at this case completely. Okay. Okay, a week ago it was delivered, that's true. I went to the Slug and Salad, but nobody came by. I think that's true. On the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I saw the note had vanished. Oops. Don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room? Why would I? Maybe I can react to this. He's voguing. Well, he did death drop, though. That makes sense. Alright. Why would she be in his room? Well, let me see what she says at the end again. As with the torn off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it. I could also probably react to that, but let me see if this will make sense. I could probably present the bottle of poison. I don't know if that'll do it. Probably. Or this. Well, let's go with the poison bottle.
Objection!
Ooh. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle. And though the contents spilt during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained.
Huh.
According to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Sholmes' chemistry set, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as strychnine.
What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare. Huh?
Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason, and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shakespeare's room with poison. She's an attempted murderer.
Can this be?
You broke into my room to... It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there is only one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shakespeare's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green.
Oh dear! Oh, dearie me!
Oh, no! She looks like a cake.
Oh, order! Order! Counsel, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill?
Yeah.
Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts. But if Miss Green did indeed set this odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely.
Well, that's a very good point.
Perhaps not, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
There was a significant police presence in the area that evening. Account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zeeks. And of course, the following morning, there was more activity at Mr. Shamspeare's address.
More activity?
Ah, yes.
You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder?
That's right. And as the defense had already proposed, Mr. Shamspeare was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself. Caused the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant.
So they're both attempted murderers. And actually, Shamspeare is an actual murderer.
But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamspeare had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe. His intended victim being in a prison cell.
Oh? Right.
With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant. And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again.
Right. Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end. Ah, okay.
A trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted.
That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Shamspeare was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier. Mary! Oh, I thought he was gonna fall over again. Just death drops again. With that new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan. What plan? The court will recall. Oh, I see. So... Okay. So she writes this note to the guy because he is the one that killed Duncan. So she's like, I'm gonna lie and set him up. So she says, oh, I know information about this murder that you did. So he's gonna freak out and be like, oh, I should go talk to this person. They're probably gonna blackmail me. So he goes and meets up with them at the restaurant. And while he's there, she goes to sneak into his house and puts the poison and then finds the letter, but does not find the little piece at the end. So that kind of was evidence that she left behind on accident. Okay. And then she goes outside after the fact and happens to have the knife fall on her in the first case, gets put in the hospital. And then with all the commotion, the guy doesn't go and blow into the pipe yet until everything calms down. And the guy's back in the lodgings. Okay. We figured it out! The court will recall that the note gave instructions to visit the slug and salad at 5. And that the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear. To ensure the lodger would not be at home at the stated time. To make sure I wasn't home? He has no idea. Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed. You mean to say, that letter was written by Miss Green, yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room.
Order! Order! What
do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me?
Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial.
So, that's what's behind all this.
You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life? That's gonna be poor Mr. Duncan.
Take that!
Poor Mr. Duncan Donut. Duncan Ross. That's right. Or the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence in the lodgings at Mr. Garrett's. Somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross. You ever just fall over and turn into a cake? Happened to me last week. That's rough.
I knew I'd heard the name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago. A man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings.
That does ring a vague... Ah, of course, yes, I remember now. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such.
Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind.
Nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamspeare blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. Now, his motive for killing him I do not remember. I think it was probably covered earlier, but it was murder. Plain and simple. Ah!
Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths. That's all people care about. It's an interesting story they want to know. It doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him. You mean you? Duncan was...
Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé.
Fiancé?
You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamspeare. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy, the murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry. Mary! Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamspeare, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe? This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? Each on different counts of murder? We got a double murder here. We got a double homicide. Yes, my lord. That's correct. Well, one is attempted.
Objection!
She'll get a lighter sentence.
Inhaling so deeply, appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded.
What? Speak plainly!
Why would Mr. Shamspeare have wanted to kill these lodgers, as you say?
Right, motive. Okay, great. Thing I don't remember.
You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man.
Yeah, 8 points! Imagine being pointed at like that. It's happening right now. You have been accused of murder. Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies. I deny every utterance. You are gay. If you pointed at me with such poise, I would faint. I feel like everyone who cosplays Zeke's has to do that pose. I mean, there's a lot of poses. There's a lot of good ones to choose from, but that has to be one of them. That has to be one of them. Now I want to cosplay him. Man.
And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either.
Miss Green.
I'm sure you'll think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel.
Objection!
I mean, would she be sent to would she be put to death for attempted murder? But you broke into the man's room. If you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason? You didn't think that far ahead, huh?
I thought I'd have a look around, that's all.
Sorry? I like to break and enter because I like to look at people's furniture and judge them.
You're right. I suspected him. So I thought perhaps I might find some evidence of something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life.
Oh, vileness! Oh, villainy! Oh, tyranny! Oh, rotundity of a woman! But in any case, whenever I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock.
That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some tips and a piece of wire.
How do you know how to do that? I think he was a criminal, and that's why Shakespeare's gonna kill him? I don't know. It has to do with the treasure that the other guy left. I think it's supposed to be hidden in that room somewhere, so he kept wanting to kill the lodgers so he could go in there and get the treasure or something. Oh, awfulness! Oh, artfulness! Oh, tyranny! Oh, profanity of woman!
We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion. But for now, tell the court what you found, what evidence your search revealed. Well, I spotted the note that I'd sent him lying on the floor. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose, and underneath it I discovered a secret hiding place.
Eh? Yes, we also discovered that hiding place.
Inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Ah, yes. Well, the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty.
What? There was something in it?
Yes.
Oh? Oh, the key!
This rather nice key.
That was a high C. What are you doing with that? What the?
Every ounce of color has drained from his face.
Give it here! Give it here! Give it here now! Give it to me! It's mine! I inherited it!
What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited the key?
No. What's all this about? He inherited the key?
It was obviously important to you, since you'd gone to such lengths to hide it, so I took it.
I don't know why he didn't recognize it this whole time. She's wearing it as a necklace.
I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open anything now? Or can't open something now? I don't care.
Give it back this minute! Give it to me! Calm yourself, witness! So Mr. Shakespeare has tried, and in one case succeeded, to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Shakespeare, at first. But considering everything we now know, I think there is actually something that could explain it.
What?
I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal. Everything we've seen and heard. Let's save. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the treasure. I could probably show the news article or something. I don't know if there's anything that says the treasure's in that room, though. I don't remember where I learned that. Let me see. It might be in my notes here. Okay. The lodger before Natsume was Duncan. Connection to Olive. In photo, Duncan moved in 1 year ago after Selden was arrested and he died 1 month ago. Okay, so this is something I wrote down, but it's just a theory I had. Maybe Sham is Selden and wants his old room back, but can't get it because of the tenants. I don't think he's necessarily Selden. I think that he just somehow knows that that's the room he used to live in. And so he wants to go in there to get to the treasure. So he's trying to get rid of the tenants. Yeah, maybe he wants his old room back because the hidden treasure is in there. So I think it's just implied, but it doesn't... I don't have evidence that shows the treasure's there. I probably just need to show the treasure at all. Yeah, it does say Sham moved in 3 months ago, which is the same time that the criminal died. So he could have faked his death and then escaped. Okay. Okay. Alright. So we will probably just show this as the motive. I'm imagining he had the wildest off-screen breakdown just now. I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal, blah, 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 because I'm sure that I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all of these events. In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence to the court in support of your claim. Oh boy. What is it that you say can explain the motivation for Mr. Shamspeare's alleged crimes? Show this. Is there anything else that has to do with it? I think she consolidated everything, so it's all here.
Take that!
That's an official police report, is it not? The Selden file. Where did you get hold of that? Selden! The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant Mr. Natsume have only one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room. Well, yes, we know this, certainly. A room that was formerly occupied by Selden. Until, that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries. I see. And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind... left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. Some 1,000 pounds worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found. Ah, yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. It's written in his file here. 1,000 pounds lost en route to hell. That was how the paper summed it up. And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. Okay, so he was the other inmate. Okay. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret, the location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key. To unlock whatever container the valuables were in. Okay. There we go.
Oh, you mean this key is...
Mr. Shamspeare, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? What are you talking about? It is a false charge, I tell you, a false charge! The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in his file, but a simple telegram to the prison where he died would quickly tell us how false the charge really is. Ugh. Yeah, he knows that's not gonna work. But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings? There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot. And you know what's silly about this, too? Why did he go through the effort of killing these lodgers when he could have just broken into the room to find it when they were not there? Like, why was his first thought murder? Not very smart. All his brain cells are in the wig. So, it all comes out. Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Shamspeare's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense. When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Garadeb's lodgings in the hope of renting Selden's own room.
However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice. Because Selden's old room had already been let to someone else, Mr. Duncan Ross.
Ah.
Which is why Mr. Shamspear subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room. However, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it. Mr. Soseki Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less. So, you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamspear? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. Get your hands on the 1,000 pounds of loot left behind by the dead convict. Oh, you. Ah. So over for him. Looks like I'm gonna snuff it before they get to stretch me neck. Listen, I want you to have me loot. Oh, anything to stop the coppers getting their mitts on it. It's hidden in the room where I was lodging when they got me. Here, this is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. See you in hell, I guess. Shamspear. I didn't realize it was him at first. I don't know who was talking. It's mine. Huh? What did he just say? It's mine. That loot is mine. Oh! 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 Mr. Shamspear! Oh, I don't like that. It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? He's lost it. He's lost it. If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do. You can't arrest me. For the time being, anyway. Barely. You can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close. I just need a few more hours. Oh, he's lost it. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it. And I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I'd just give up? There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty through and through. He seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a way. Pardon? There's one way I can finish him. No. He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot, which means all we need to do is find it first. Fine plan. Were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule.
If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly.
We could look for handprints, I guess, with Herlock's stuff. This is the final piece in this complex puzzle, but I think we might have it in our possession already. Huh? Or rather, I think we may well have something that can help us find where the loot is hidden. Oh. There is a little hole right there, but I don't know why you would need a key. I mean, there could probably be like a treasure box that needs a key. It could be in the coin thing, but then they collect that every so often, so I don't know. I could say this, I don't know. I think it's the only thing. I don't even have Herlock's fingerprint stuff. What's that? Oh, is it behind the painting? Well, where was the painting? Oh, maybe it's behind the painting. Okay. It's been a long time, okay? Yeah, may I have something that can help us find where the loot is hidden? My lord. Yes, counsel? The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we are already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to, its whereabouts. But just in case the clue is wrong, let me save my progress. Dances nervously. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've used the same technique once already, and it definitely paid off then. Oh. Okay, so maybe it's not behind the painting, but it's just the fact that we have something to show fingerprints, so I'm probably still gonna show that picture. Okay. Very well then, counsel. Let the court hear your idea. What do you propose we can use in order to locate the hiding place of the deceased convict's hole?
I think it's this one.
Take that!
The power of science! I'm not mistaken. Those are Mr. Shamspeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings. Yeah, so this is in the other room. We can use it to find handprints in the other room. That's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene.
Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Sholmes.
A great detective? Is that some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspeare. Oh, suddenly, Herlock! Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Ah! 'Tis Herlock Sholmes himself! What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital. Ah, Mr. Reaper, it's been far too long. And I see your complexion has worsened since last we met. Mr. Sholmes does know Lord Van Zeeks, then. Well enough to say something like that in any case. Mr. Sholmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit.
I may, my lord. Mr. Sholmes' newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already.
Clues, you say? I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. It's the method by which we were able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activity. Ah! You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched to make an indicator solution. In your case, sir, I used the teacup you'd been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time? Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Soseki-san's room. We need a sample to help locate Selden's loot that's hidden in his old room. What form will the sample take? A person? What? Huh. It's probably gonna be a thing. Hey Arkham, welcome in. Howdy. The Sholmes is her locking and popping. Yes, absolutely. Oh man. It's gotta be evidence, because it says... Oh no. Something the individual has previously touched to make an integrated solution. So I was gonna say the key. But I don't think the key is in our evidence, so how can I present anything? If it's a person... I mean... I don't feel like that would make sense. The only person it could be would be Shamspear. But there's... So if it's evidence... Okay, I'm thinking the key. What else could it be? Could it be something that's in the room? Like the gas meter? The only thing is there's going to be 2 other sets of fingerprints. It has to be something that only has his fingerprints, right? Maybe I'll just say evidence and hopefully they bring up the key. I'll say evidence. We'll need a particular piece of evidence in order to create the indicator solution. Indeed. And you have the piece of evidence in question? Yes, I believe so. On my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular item is the one question? What piece of evidence do you propose that we use to help find Selden's loot? Shit. I don't have it. Would it be Shamspear? Is it a person? Or would I say person and then point to Olive because she has the key? I don't know. Or I could say the gas meter in the room. It's like the only item that could work. Otherwise, it's a person.
Take that!
I don't think it's this. Have a look at this! Yeah, it's not that. As far as I'm able to ascertain, you have very little confidence in your choice. What? Why would you think that? My dear fellow, once again, there is no mystery. Did you really believe that the minute deflection of your left eye would escape my attention? But, I asked you to look at the evidence, not my eye! I think we need to reconsider this from the start, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, maybe it's a person. Let's load the save. Yeah, chat, just vibe along to the song. Just dance along. Okay, not a person. I guess. We'll need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution to find his loot. And something the convict owned happens to be in the possession of somebody listed in the court record. Okay. I thought that the person themselves were gonna have fingerprints on them. Okay. Upon my word, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. Yeah, now they are. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From whom can we obtain a possession of the late convict Selden? Create the indicator solution. I mean, this part is so obvious, I feel like they shouldn't have made it so convoluted to get there. Miss Green.
Oh, me? What do you want with me?
A key around your neck, if you please.
Sorry?
No! That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use. Why does that sound so gross? This mouse has my skin secretions in it. Oh god. That was a good timing. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid, Dandelion. Can we get a shout out, please? Oh, what were you streaming? What were you up to today? Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in, Stella and Sari as well, and Drama. Welcome, welcome, y'all. Howdy. Man, we don't have any music playing right now. I know the timing of that. Oh, you were playing Monster Hunter. Oh, nice. I have played a little bit of Monster Hunter, but I'm not a huge hunter person. But I did try it. There was like a free trial week or something where I tried it, and it was pretty fun. I hope you had a great time with your stream. Welcome in. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Stella. My name is Bishi, for all you new folks in here. Currently we're playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I'm actually have put this game on hiatus for a long time. I haven't played this since last year. And I was in the middle of a case in the second game. So I'm finally back to playing it tonight. And making some more progress with it, which I think I will finish this case tonight, thankfully. And, you know, move on from this limbo I've left this poor game in. But yeah, I play all kinds of stuff here. I play Ace Attorney games. I play Yakuza. I'm a huge fan of that series. I am also playing Power Wash Simulator for the first time tomorrow, just to try it out. So I play all kinds of stuff. I've played Zelda on stream before. I've played Resident Evil, Alan Wake. Gosh, a bunch of different stuff, honestly. My FAQ has like all the games I've ever streamed, but just kind of all over the place. But I am a huge fan of Ace Attorney and Yakuza. Those are kind of my two main games right now. But either way, welcome in, y'all. Let me just get to a point where there's some music. Very true. There's some intense stuff happening right now. That is the sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print seeker. And find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. There we go. But yeah, I hope you had a great stream, Dandelion. Thank you so much for that raid. And welcome in, y'all. I hope you enjoy your stay. Like I said, we're in the second game of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And I think we're in the second case, hopefully moving on to the third one by the end of the stream today. But yeah, I started with the first trilogy of Ace Attorney like 2 years ago or so, maybe 3 at this point. And I loved the main trilogy. I loved Phoenix and everybody. So I fell in love with the series after that and jumped straight into Chronicles when I finished it. But then, of course, I kind of put it on the back burner while I played a bunch of other stuff that came out last year because there's so many games last year. Then Apollo Justice came out, and I didn't want to wait to play that, so then I played at least the first game. I finished the first game in that trilogy. I had a lot of fun with it, but I was like, you know what? Before I finish Apollo Justice, I really need to go back and finish Chronicles, so here we are. When I'm done with this, I'm going to be playing the second and third game of Apollo Justice, which I'm really looking forward to. I really like the first one. I just want to play all the Ace Attorney. All of it. Oh, you love Ace Attorney. Nice, nice. Yeah. I'm kind of a new fan, but at this point it's been a few years now, so yeah. And I have not cosplayed from it yet. I am a cosplayer. I intended to cosplay Edgeworth, and my spouse was going to be Phoenix, but we never got around to making the costume, so I only have the wig. So I can be Edgeworth from the neck up, but that's it. We still have to make the suits and everything. That's also been on the back burner, but I still want to do it someday. Yeah. I do cosplay, yes. I think I have a command to show some pictures. Yes, I do. Yeah. My profile picture here on Twitch is my cosplay, actually, where I cosplay Majima from the Yakuza series. I have cosplayed so many things. So many things. From all kinds of fandoms, games, anime, etc. There's some pictures there. That's not everything I've ever done, but just kind of like my best, I guess. I've cosplayed from JoJo, quite a few characters. Yeah, Yakuza, JoJo. Those are some of the ones I'm most proud of and the most recent ones, but yeah, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's my favorite hobby outside of streaming and playing games. Okay, let's see. What is he saying now? Yeah, so right now in the story, we're kind of at the end of the case. We're basically just trying to find evidence of... There's a lot going on. There's been 2 attempted murders, 1 successful murder. There's 2 people that we're finding guilty of attempted / successful murder. We're trying to find fingerprints from this criminal that died and left his loot to this other guy who's killing people to try to get to the loot. It's a lot. We're gonna find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Ah!
Mr. Shamspear, as one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's haul is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes.
Ugh. So, Mr. Shamspear, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth.
In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key.
No! Give the key to me! The detective shan't have it!
It's over, Mr. Shamspear.
No! No!
You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt!
Whoa! Oh, shameful spear! Despair! Be thy name! I don't know how he's doing this!
Oh, I love how dramatic he is. That was beautiful.
He's so sad.
Someone overlay the crying cat. He's dead. He's dead on the inside, that's for sure.
I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room. That's all.
You put gas in the room until he died of suffocation. What did you think was gonna happen?
So you'd have time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods?
Yet, after you'd killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused.
Why?
I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing.
Mr. Garadeb really has had a lot to put up with.
And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then...
Look at how his mouth is moving! Wait a second! Oh, I don't like that! It's just like squashing and stretching.
I don't even want to do it with my mouth.
Ew.
And then,
this Japanese man swooped in at just the right moment to sign the new lease.
poor Mr. Natsume. What unfortunate timing.
Then, 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road, when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance,
But it wasn't to be.
no. The scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day.
And, if I remember rightly, Mr. Sholmes spent the whole day in there reading books.
I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. He looks like a sad horse. Why the long face? Which is why, on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. He's so sad.
William Shamspear. How does it go? Be or not to be, that is the question.
From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1.
Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done.
He got even sadder somehow. We don't feel bad for you, sir. I hate how his mouth was moving.
At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died.
The gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olive. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason.
That's no joke.
They say it's the convict's curse.
Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is.
All right then. If it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place.
There are spare rooms at my house. Why don't you leave that horrible room tonight?
No, I'd better not. We said we'd wait until we'd graduated before we told our parents, remember?
That's so sad. Yeah. If only he listened to her.
That was the last time we ever spoke. That very night, he fell victim to the gas.
God, this OST is so good.
If only I'd known it was going to happen, I'd have insisted he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped, Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grub's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican.
That place is cursed, I tell you, cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me! I wake up in the middle of the night freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked. No problem there. It's like I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking.
How could that be? Duncan was gone and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered. A rumor I'd heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations.
Rumor? Ah, you mean...
Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes.
How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipeline.
That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I'd had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me night and day. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End.
The black market?
I'd never been. I'd just heard people talk about them. And you really can buy anything you can think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident, or was it murder?
And your chosen method for establishing the truth is simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait. Mr. Shamspear was innocent. Nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly.
I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Shamspear, and then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance.
And so the fact that he went to the meeting is also a way for her to know that he was guilty.
If he'd done it, I knew that would worry him enough so he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked.
And of course, Mr. Shamspear followed the instructions to the letter.
I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away. So I smeared a good amount of the poison I'd bought all around the mouth of the pipe, all the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and that it was all just some wild fantasy. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, and that the culprit would get his just desserts.
I mean, I know that she tried to kill someone, but I don't totally blame her. He killed the love of her life, okay? I'm like, I mean, 3 days ago, when you first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward.
Yes, my lord.
I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes. It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes.
And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you. Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, huh? Miss Green?
Yes, my lord.
You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom, as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shamspeare.
Yes, I know.
And you, Mr. Shamspeare, you will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
Yesterday, at the hospital, when you and your friends stopped me from
ending your life by drinking what was left of the poison bottle?
I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems.
Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green.
Oh,
And I'd like to believe that it's a blessing Mr. Shamspeare didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. I really feel so bad for her. Oh.
because of you, I chose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last.
It's the attempted murder actually did bring justice, you know?
Really, I can't thank you enough.
I got goosebumps from that. What the heck?
Oh, Miss Hosato.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Miss Green. Sorry. Mr. Soseki Natsume.
Yes, my lord.
Court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of not guilty. We are in full agreement, my lord. In that case, stop the music! I hereby declare the defendant not guilty. There we go. They've been standing in this courtroom for like 6 months, waiting for me to come back. Why did I stop in the middle of a case? I feel like what happened, maybe like Alan Wake 2 came out right after the last time I played this, and so I just got absorbed by that, and I didn't want to take even one day. Not even one stream to, like, finish out the case. I don't know. Court is adjourned.
But we did it. I finished it. We got here. All good. It's all fine and dandy.
With that being said, before we wrap up this case, I am gonna go take a quick break. And I should be back within less than like 5 minutes or so. Yeah, Naruhodo was just twiddling his thumbs for 6 months. Well, his thumbs should be like so muscular now. Just giant. That's a long time. Okay, I'm gonna go take a quick break. When I get back, we will finish up this case. And then depending on how much time is left, I might just call it there so that we can start fresh next time with the next case. But either way, BRB. All right, we're back. And it's silent. Great. Oh. I thought it was funny during the break. I looked at chat for a bit and I noticed that like all the clips and quotes are Ace Attorney, aren't they? Yeah, an Ace Attorney quote and then Ace Attorney clip. A dose bit take. That was a good one. That was a good moment. All right, let's finish up this case. 23rd February, 3:24 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Oh, yes, at last! Divine justice duly done! Months later, I am free of this trial.
Divine justice. My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache.
No, this has nothing to do with my mustache!
Some say that a luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, once again, you've saved me from doom!
I'm very happy to have been able to help, Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. Your second in almost as many days. This poor guy.
I was first acquainted with and gained affection for English literature whilst in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books.
You've had such a difficult time, haven't you?
Ah, but a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did. I've seen more of life in this week than in all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that's so far been hiding from me behind a wall of fog. My dear fellow, there is nothing special about the true face of the English, as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live.
Well said. I've come to feel the same way.
I've made a decision, too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here and return to Japan!
Jojo pose. Why does he do this?
Why?
What?
Just when we become friends here in England. What a terrible shame.
Oh, don't cry.
Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings, it really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. A novel of sorts, I suppose.
Oh my! So you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume. How wonderful!
Oh, well, no, I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature!
Why not? When that is precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache. I suppose you're right, yes. It will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur.
Grandeur?
I, for one, would love to read your work.
Well, all things considered, it may be for the very best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper.
Ah, that's very true.
And there is no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor.
The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand.
So nervous. We're making him so scared.
My goodness, yes. Faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure.
But that's not why I'm leaving! I mean it! Objection! And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now! Wait, has it? Okay, wait, how long has it actually been since I last played this? I need to... How many months in September? Oh, it's been 8 months. Oh! Oh! We keep saying 6 months. 6 months was kind. It's been 8. Ooh. Well then. Okay. I knew I should have calculated the time. I feel so bad. Okay. We were embroiled in 8 months ago. Soseki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. If I just did this case like 2 months earlier, it would have been canon. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Susato-san was given the news that she must return to Japan as well, on the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. Yeah, so this case the whole time has actually been a flashback. In modern time, Susato is not with us in Japan, and she did her own case. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial on the following day. The day that we uncovered the loot hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings. Oh, we're not done! We're not done! 24th February, 10:13 a.m. Mr. Natsume's room.
Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you. To uncover the secret hiding place in just one day.
Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes?
As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson?
I love how he eats it like a bird.
Rexy's been happily munching in agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Happily? I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth.
So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling.
Oh. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot?
Let us look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's hall.
I guess it's the 1800s, but I hate the term skin prints. Yeah, it's just... And then they even said, like, the skin secretions earlier. It's like... No, thank you. What the... What is that? Oh, a crown? No, a collar. A dog collar?
It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar.
Has a B on it. Collar? It's huge, though.
Look at all the gemstones set in it. I can see what it was claimed to be worth 1,000 pounds. Perhaps I could have it as a belt.
Oh, have you noticed on the inside there? There are some dark stains. You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it.
On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt.
And of course, there's this emblem here. A large letter B and a small crown. What does it signify, do you think?
Oh, I hadn't noticed that. I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know. Where could it have been?
That's enough of that, I think. Oh. What? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the color has drained from his face.
Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence, after all. It must be kept safely under lock and key.
Ah, yes. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over, now!
Maybe it has to do with Baskervilles? I'd never seen a collar that large before. And all those jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. But that's not what stood out the most to me. At least, not once I'd noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar. Those stains. Could they really have been... blood? Blood?
Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now.
And you look very pleased, Iris.
I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating.
You're talking about the latest installment of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I presume.
The mystery of the knife in the mist, and the mustached man and the convict's curse, perhaps. I could make it a two-part story. Oh, I can't wait.
A word, please, Iris.
Yes? What is it, Hurley?
I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question.
What? Why not? It's a great case.
Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your two titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? Oh.
Yes.
But she wrote it anyway.
And so it was that the second of Souseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity.
Voice acting in my Ace Attorney?
Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen. For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again. With an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
That took a while. And... alright.
Voice acting. The key of knowledge.
Let's save. Alright. Okay, so we could keep going. However, I think this would be a great starting point for next time. And I'm also super hungry. I ate a little bit too early today before stream. And now I'm starving, so I think I'll just end it here tonight, y'all. And we'll pick back up with this next time, and we'll probably do a full stream next time. Since we'll be starting a new case. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Let me play some music here. Well, it might let me go to the menu. Yeah. Let's go to the top. There we go. Ace Attorney music. For an Ace Attorney stream. There we go. Okay, that works. Alright, y'all. That's it. I'll be playing more Ace Attorney Chronicles probably next Thursday or Friday. So I'm thinking I might want to play Infinite Wealth most of the time. So I'd probably play Infinite Wealth Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Chronicles Friday. So maybe expect it on Friday instead. But yeah, basically it'll be 3 days of Infinite Wealth and 1 day of Chronicles usually. But tomorrow I'll be back at 9:30 p.m. Central Time playing Power Wash Simulator as my PNG tuber. We're gonna have a chill Friday tomorrow. I've always wanted to play this game, and a community member gifted it to me recently, so I wanted to try it out on stream for the first time. So yeah, we're just gonna hang out, have a chill stream. So I hope y'all can make it and hang out with me. We can chat. all 4 hours while I clean everything. But that's it for me tonight. Thank y'all so much for being here. There's my social media. I'm most active on Twitter and YouTube. We also have a Discord open to anybody. If you'd like to join, that's the best place to be for stream updates and the like. And there are the raid messages if you're joining us. But either way, whether you were lurking or chatting with me, I appreciate you being here. And I will see y'all next time. Bye!